Hey miners, what's going on? We have a special guest with us here today, Mr. Iowa Crypto Mining, and I've asked him here because he's a very efficient miner. He's very good at running numbers, and he's probably one of the luckiest miners out there right now.
Hey guys, how you doing? Yeah, yeah, I'm blessed a little bit, but yeah, let's get into it and kind of show you the way I think when it comes into power and that kind of stuff, and how I've helped King out and a couple other ones, other people in the space, and kind of go from there.
I asked him. He's a spreadsheet guy. I don't know. I think he could compete with Seb on this because he's pretty good with spreadsheets. So my power is probably a little more complicated than most people's. I have lots of fees and taxes. I have solar, right, which adds more variables. You know what I mean, into the mix, as well as I have on and off peak times and charges, and on and off peak demand charges. So
Yeah, yours was it was not very fun to kind of go through it. That's for sure. Um, you have all these fees, and every bill is different. So when you talk to someone, if you look at your own bill, it's gonna be completely different than what we're showing you here. It's gonna be completely different than what I have. It just, but the main idea is the same. They're gonna charge you. You got to figure out how they charge you, and how can you control that or not control it. And so, yeah, these are the yellow is bill option A that King had, that he could, one plan he could be on, and that's his current plan. The blue one was one we were kind of testing to see, is it better, is it worse? And so, yeah, I made this spreadsheet that kind of showed it. It's not the prettiest. The idea here is I just wanted to get a final number and be able to change it and still get accurate numbers. It doesn't look great, but it does the job, and that's all I really care about. So, yep. Your plan was different because the first plan had, you got lots of credits for solar. So if you look in the top left there, it's talking about solar credits. The 285 was the credit that you got, and so that's awesome. The total at the bottom middle was actually what they charged you for your electrical, and because you didn't have anything turned on, so that was more just normal use, normal house use. So I think the 237 was before your taxes, and so the 263 is with the taxes added in. And so you were negative last month because you didn't use much power; you just used normal amount. It was 1,468 kilowatt hours. So that was your plan you're on. The problem is your solar is not going to change much, but this was at a 18-cent rate. So if you bump up your power, turn on like 5 or 6 rigs, you're going to get charged at 18 cents. Yes, you have some solar in there, but you're not going to catch up. You're always going to be way behind.
right.
So that was that plan we looked at. And then the new plan, your solar credits, we look on the left side again, with the same numbers, same usage, you were only getting 81 bucks as a credit. Actually, no, I lied. It was either 122 or 81. It was whatever. It was way lower as a credit, but their charges were actually less. So the same
Right.
numbers, same usage, you were actually less. So, and we also figured out by looking at the bill and how it's written, they're going to take your kilowatt used between 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock, I think it was, and then base everything else off of that charge, how much power you're using during that time frame. So,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
so that
right.
yeah,
That's what we were talking about. So the second plan here, which this is like probably one of the most essential things we're talking about when it comes to mining, and this is something that you should honestly do before you even get into mining. Is you have to sit down and crunch these numbers because there's people out there. I know. Obviously the boss Chump Change, he has a very high electric rates. People over in the UK typically have a very high electric rates. So I mean, this is like the first step that you need to do before, to me, you even need to buy a rig, right? You need to figure out if it even makes sense to have this at your house, or if you can't have it at your house, to obviously have it hosted somewhere, or maybe take it to a friend's house or whatever you could figure out. But this is, to me, this is step number one for mining. So this is the plan. This is the second plan we're talking about. And this is the plan I'm not on. You can see here that they charge a per kilowatt as like a demand charge, right? It's
yep,
$16.87 per kilowatt, which means like if you're drawing 20,000 watts at your house for mining, that's 20 kilowatt, right? So they're
yeah.
going to charge you 20 times $16.87 on top of all your regular charges, right? But if you look at the graph here, it's in between 4 and 7. So it's pretty crucial here because even in my bill, and I'm not even on this plan, it still says your demand was between 6 and 7, right? That's probably the time where people are cooking dinner, the AC's blasting, because it's in Arizona. It's typically when people are going to be using the most energy, right?
Correct.
Um, so if I can avoid this at my other mining location where I could use the scheduling to turn off my rigs, to shut them down at, let's say, just in case this fluctuates a little bit, we'll say 3 p.m. because you see there's like a little line here, right?
Hmm.
So I'm going to shut it off here at 3 and I'm going to turn it back on at 8. So if we're able to get away from those on demand charges, and yeah, I'm going to miss some mining time every day, but it's definitely going to outweigh the cost, right? Because I'll be at 5.27 cents over here in the summertime. And then if you come down to the winter, I get an additional savings between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m. where I drop down to about 3.1 cents.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yeah, you're losing a sixth of your mining time, but you're gonna save almost 50% of your bill because yes, you're only missing 4 hours, but most of your bill is gonna be in that 4 hour range. So you're only losing a smaller portion compared to your actual bill. So you'll be way ahead by changing it up a little bit. And another cool thing to kind of learn your bill. So if they're charging kilowatt hours of demand or just kilowatts, if you look at your total kilowatt hours used, divide that by 720, that is your kilowatts they're going to charge you. So if you have, 1400 kilowatt hours used like you did last month, they're going to charge you either 2 kilowatts or 3 kilowatts, right above it, because you have
right.
your little bit higher usage. So that's kind of an easy way to kind of figure out, well, I don't know how many kilowatts I use. Well, figure out what your kilowatt hours were, last month, and then add that in there and divide it by 720, then add that in there. So and then exactly how many kilowatts they're going to charge you going forward.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely with obviously with this kind of a plan, I am going to be having to watch exactly what I do and don't do and keeping things off at the correct times. It's going to obviously have to be a little more structured, but I think long term, I'm going to save a lot of money and I'll be able to actually get below 10 cents overall, which would be great for me, right? I haven't been under 10 cents in I don't know how long. So
Yep.
looking forward to that. This is the actual what you need to go is called the tariff, right? Usually they have a tariff sheet where they break down all your charges for you. And this is where people can get lost. This is where I get lost because sometimes you don't know what things apply and don't apply to you. Um, because if you come up here, this is the start of the bill, and then you can start coming down here to the charges. Well, first off, you're going to have this fee every day, this base charge. That's 40 cents a day. So, 10 days, that's $4. It's going to be $12 a month. So that's no matter who you are, everybody's paying $12.
Yep.
And then see you have your on peak demand charge, which is what we're trying to skip, right? Which is why I'm testing and stuff like that right now. So honestly, I should be able to skip that charge. I should be able to skip the on peak charge right here, right?
Yep.
And then I'm going to be here at the 0.05276 cents.
Yep.
Now let me get a calculator up here because I kind of want to break down what total is actually going to be here, right? So we're at 0.05276, and then we have all these other miscellaneous charges every day.
I think on that spreadsheet, I think it was like $12 total or $20
Yeah,
total. It was nothing too crazy.
it was $12. I calculated that as well
Yeah.
before this recording.
Yep.
So this is $12 up here. This is $12 right here. So you get an additional $24 on your bill.
Yep.
Um, and then you're gonna have this, and this is for on peak only. So once again, hopefully I'm skating away from all this because I'm not generating anything. I'm also not having power delivered to me. Right. So I shouldn't have to pay any of these at all because I'm not going to be on peak. And then we come down to the final ones here, which all of these generation ones are I believe are for solar, right? Iowa.
That's what we were thinking because looking at your other plan, comparing it to this one, the other plan that was generation. So we think that's the same on this, and the charges are different depending on what plan you're on. And since your dad didn't have any solar, this doesn't matter. What if it was, even though it's lower, it didn't matter in this situation.
Yeah, and stay tuned because I'm going to give you a little secret about the 18 cents here in a minute. And it's a lot more than 18 cents I'm paying. So just stay tuned because there's a curveball here in the situation. So we have a system benefits charge, which is per kilowatt hour,
Yep.
which is 0.00315. Whoops. It would help if I didn't, screw up everything else. Plus 0.00315, 0.01097, plus 0.01070.
Yep.
So about 7.8 cents is it should be, if the test is successful, right? If it really works, then this would be my all-in.
Yeah, you'll be this plus the $20,
Plus
the set fee. Yep.
Yeah, plus the $24 a month, which is like, de minimis over
Yep.
time. So
every plan has a set fee. Even if you don't turn anything on and use it, as long as there's a meter out there, they charge you something. So it's always comes back to them having a meter out there. So
if you had a guess, Iowa, how many people do you think don't do this or don't understand this in our community?
I would say it's above 90% because
90%.
Yeah, I think it's higher than you think, that people don't know exactly how it's broken down.
I did say that I was going to have a little, additional charge here. And this is because, I didn't do these numbers at first. All right. I didn't do these numbers at first. So I lease my solar. I don't own the solar. I can buy the solar, but at first, to get both sides of my roof, it was over $100,000.
Yeah.
I could have financed it. I did have it. I could have financed it, but to me, it was just such a big number at the time, and I was so unsure of what I wanted to do and how much I was going to need that I said, I'll just do one side at a time and I'll just lease it, right?
Yep.
So I pay a flat rate all year long to the solar company, as per se, like a power company, right? Sometimes when I'm generating more solar, it gets down to like 7 cents, right? But in the wintertime, when I produce less, it's more like 11, 12 cents. But it's kind of like an average of like 10 to 11 cents, you know what I mean, throughout the entire year. So I have two accounts because each side of my roof is there. So you have to add in an additional $400 to that bill. And it brings me closer to like the 30-cent range, which is not great. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I should have done my homework a little better. I wish I would have known Iowa a lot sooner. We could have really crunched some numbers. He would have saved me a mountain of money. Do you have anything else that you want to add, Iowa, to everything that we've been kind of seeing here today? It's a lot of information to take in. And once again, everybody's power bill is going to be different. Every company's going to be different. They're going to have different fees and taxes and, all kinds of other stuff. You know what I mean? My bill was pretty big. I had a lot of, my company's not great. So,
yeah. During this time, this is our learning time when we're not, when mining kind of sucks. It really does.
Right.
Maybe most of us are turned off and we're just kind of wait until it's getting profitable. So now is the time to do this kind of research, see what plans are out there and see what options you have, see what hosting providers are out there. Do I want to go that route? Now is the time to learn.
All right, guys. So we're going to head out of here. Thank you so much, Iowa Crypto Mining, for hanging out with me. Greatly appreciate all of his expertise and helping me understand my bills so that I can maximize my profits.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. It's kind of fun. And yeah, it's one more miner making some more money. It's good for everybody. So.
All right, guys, this is the Money King giving you the most hashes, and I'll see you next time. I think I need a new saying.